Good afternoon. Welcome to one more webinar from Telerik India. So this is typically we do these webinars every Thursday of the month, almost every Thursday of the month. Idea is simple. We tend to kind of talk about different Telerik technologies, how to work with them, or even generic .NET or any under the hood of the software development. We kind of have these webinars. So thank you very much for those of you who have made it to this webinar. And then, today we're going to be looking at how to mobilize your SAP data with Kendo UI Mobile. Just a little bit about myself. You may be wondering who's behind the mic. So my name is Lohit G and I work as a technical evangelist for Telerik in India. I'm also a Microsoft MVP in the area of ASP.NET and IAS. I'm part of one of the India's largest and most active user groups known as Bangalore.NET User Group. I help Bangalore.NET User Group run month on month by conducting the UG meets and all those things. I'm an author. I wrote a book on Windows Phone 7 application development using F#. I'm available on Twitter. If you want to tweet to me, you can tweet to me at the handle KSHYAPA. That's @Kashyapa. So that's my Twitter handle. My official email ID is lohit.nagaraj@telerik.com. If you want any information, you want to get in touch with me, you can always send me an email. These are some of the blog sites that you should be kind of bookmarking. Telerik.com, our global corporate website, where you will be able to get to know the different things that we make or we build, different control sets, all those things. TelerikHelper.net is a website where myself and my colleague we keep writing on most of the how to do with how-to series on Telerik technologies, like how do you create a custom theme for data visualization in Kendo UI, like that. And Kashyapas.com is my personal website where I mostly write on ASP.NET. And if you want to know more about me, you can go to my short URL about.me/Kashyapa, KSHYAPA. So without much further ado, let's come back to the business of the day. Well, I am assuming most of you know this, what is SAP. So, but just to set the context for those of you who don't know what is SAP, I just want to take a moment to talk about this particular terminology or this particular, software. So what is SAP? So I just went to SAP site and then I wanted to look at how do they define SAP, right? So this is from SAP site. SAP ERP is an enterprise resource planning software which provides an integrated solution that incorporates key business functions of an organization. So basically it's an ERP. Basically it exposes many of the business functions and it helps many of these business functions to run seamlessly, integrate with one another, all those things. I see SAP from at any point of time, any resource, it can be machine, it can be a project or it can be an employee, so SAP gives you that kind of information, or it kind of gives you the data about a particular resource at any point of time, where is it, what is it happening, all those things. So in a simple terms, if somebody asks, it's an enterprise resource planning software. It is integrated solution. It incorporates the key business functions of an organization. So that's the key here. So the business functions of an organization. So those of you who have already have SAP in your organization, have SAP deployed on your organization, you will know that it's a very huge system, and then pretty much all aspects of business functions have been carried out, or it supports most of the business functions, under the hood, and it's a huge data, right? And then usually the SAP is rolled out within an enterprise as an as an intranet thing. But yes, if you can expose the SAP site to outside world by just making the whatever intranet UIs or the intranet web apps are there, that's one way you can expose those intranet web apps to extranet by making the site available as an internet site. And of course you will log in with your SAP user ID or credentials that you may have. But the idea here is, how do you make it mobile? Meaning, today it's all about devices. Today it's all about either an iPhone or an Android phone or a Windows phone or an iPad, right? I am on the move. I am on the field, and I need to access a very specific SAP function data, backend data. So how do I do it? So I cannot log into the SAP UI. Just a minute back I said, like, I can mobilize by exposing my SAP UI or SAP web application that you get, the web front end that you get as an extranet site or as an internet site. But now, how good is that website when you see it on a mobile device? The mobile device is just 5-inch or 7-inch. Even an iPad is a 12-inch, maybe an iPad or 10-inch iPad. But is it okay? Is the UI meant for that? So the experience is going to be completely different. So the experience that you kind of go through on a desktop browser is completely different than that of a mobile browser or mobile on a mobile device. So mobile device would uh, basically would call for an experience which is very native to that particular device. That is, it would users will feel very comfortable when you have an application rather than going to a web page in order to access your data and all those things. So how do you make your SAP data out to outside world as an as an API or as a service, so that many vendors can start writing your start writing UIs, a mobile application for these SAP backends, right? So one of the things that SAP did was it came out with a system, or it came out with a technology known as SAP Netweaver Gateway System. So we're going to look at what exactly is this. So I just again went to SAP Developer Network and then looked at what does a SAP Network Gateway mean, or how is SAP Network Gateway defined by SAP. So they say it's a technology that provides a simple way to connect devices, environments, and platforms to SAP backend and market standards. So the key thing here is connect devices, environments, and platforms to SAP backend, but they are trying to do that with market standards, meaning they are not coming up with their own standards. They're not coming up with their own protocols. Rather, they have embraced the market standards that are there, and using those market standards, the SAP NetWeaver Gateway, what it does is it exposes your SAP backend data to the outside world as a service. Especially the service that it exposes is known as OData service, or OData is the protocol. So it's a web service. You can think that of as a web service, but the web service follows OData protocol for data exchange. OData stands for open data, and it's a standard, or it's a protocol that Microsoft has initiated, and then many industry players are also joining hands in trying to make OData a prime standard protocol for data exchange. And it's pretty good, interesting protocol. If you have never worked with OData, it's fantastically the protocol is pretty much neat and then interesting. The clients get the power of filtering over the URI, meaning in the URI I can just say $select is equal to column 1, column 2, column 3. That's it. The system understands what you're asking for, and then it will give me only those 3 columns back as a JSON payload or as an XML payload. So that's interesting. So I've been following OData from last 2 years, and then I'm pretty interested in this particular technology, and I'm happy to say that SAP has embraced OData. And when, as part of the SAP NetWeaver Gateway system, whenever you create a service to expose your SAP backend data, the service is actually following OData protocol. So we're going to see that protocol in all those things. So just to give a kind of brief overview of the pictorial diagram, this is what I could get from SAP's site. So if you see there are only 3 things. Okay, let's not get into. I'm not going to get deep into SAP NetWeaver Gateway system because that's not the prime concern of this webinar. But rather assume that if you are having SAP in your systems, or let's say you have a project coming up, or in your organization people are asking about how do I expose my SAP data to be mobile. So first thing that you guys should take a look at is, okay, so let's put a SAP NetWeaver Gateway system. Through that system you can then expose all your backend data. So what you see in the block diagram is at the bottom layer is the SAP Business Suite, meaning different packages of the SAP, like the CRM, the customer management, or SRM, SCM, or the project management, the PLM. All those things are the business function that SAP provides. So the SAP NetWeaver Gateway system will sit on top of them, and then will expose the backend data as OData service. Since it's OData service, any client in this world can work with it, because OData is a protocol which pretty much embraces HTTP as the transport mechanism, and then it uses Atom as the standard to define the the XML structure, and then of course the JSON is like, you don't need to know. There's no standard for JSON. Basically, you package your project, your objects as a JSON object, and then just send it back. So that's why you see that any type of web application be on any sort of browser can consume this OData service. Of course, the devices, any device can now start writing uh, application, and then kind of communicate with this OData protocol or OData service, because it's all HTTP. There's nothing other than HTTP, and then everybody understands HTTP. Plus, if you have enterprise software, for example, if I have a SAP Netweaver gateway system, I can open up Excel, and then Excel can connect to this because Excel has a OData connector, and I can just pretty much get the data from my SAP backend right into my Excel without doing anything. That's how easy it is to do it. So assume that there's, basically visualize that you have SAP business functions, and then on top of that, SAP Netweaver gateway is kind of sitting on top of it, and then pretty much we can enable any application, any device, any platform to consume and then provide an experience. So that's why if you see the labeling there, it says experiences. So it doesn't say platform or device. Rather, you have a browser experience, you have a device experience, and you have a software experience that you can power from the Netweaver gateways services. Moving ahead. So I talked about SAP, I talked about how to expose the data. So okay, fine, but how do I play around, because I don't have SAP, or I don't have SAP Netweaver gateway system software to build it, right? So what SAP has done is they have already built certain demo systems for us to play around, and I'm happy that they did that. Because it gives me a chance to go ahead and then kind of look at the data that are there, and then build experience for that. So today we're going to be building a mobile experience for the SAP data. So what they have done is basically the demo system is nothing but to test drive the SAP backend, the SAP business function that they have exposed. It's an online demo system, free access to all. Sample services exposed, and it follows a OData protocol, right? So basically, there are four major or four demo systems that they have exposed. One is a flight example, another one is bank example, and a third one is sales order example, and is enterprise procurement model example. These are the examples that they have currently have put up. So let me show you where you can go. I will be putting I think my blog post already has the links for all this stuff. So if I show you this. So this is the blog post that I was talking about that I've already written. So it says mobilizing your SAP data with Kendo UI Mobile, get the environment ready. So what is SAP ERP, SAP Netweaver Gateway System, and then SAP Netweaver Gateway Demo System. So I have the link here for the demo system. So let me open that. So here, if you see, they have two major sections. So it says how to get access. Basically, what you need to do is first you need to go and then sign up. I have already done that. I have signed up for their demo system. I got a user ID and I got a password. So as part of the signing, what it does is it has given you access to those demo systems. So all these demo systems are protected, meaning you need to have signed up with the demo system, and then you need to get a user ID and password, and then you need to use that to kind of talk to the demo system. So that's how it is. So once you follow this sign up, they will send you an email with your user ID and password, and then here are the example systems, right? So basically there are consumption model, metadata, all those things. So let me just give me a second. Let me get something here quickly. So let's try to, so what I'm going to do is for this example, I'm going to be using this EPM based sample service, or you can use the sales order service also. That's not a problem. So let's see how the service, so how does a OData service look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Chrome's extension. There is an extension called Postman. So this Postman is used to kind of do a RESTful, service endpoint communication. Meaning you can use this to ping the RESTful thing. So what I will do is, okay, let me use Chrome to just showcase what happens. So I'm going to go to this service document. And when I hit this, so if you see here, it's a fairly simple URL. Like it says GZGW sample underscore service. That's it. So this is basically this service document. So as I said, it's all protected. So it needs a username and password. Let me try to get that username and password. So in the interest of the time, I've already done that. So if you see here, I just pasted my user ID and password, and then kind of it accepted my user ID and password, and then it went ahead, and then it's coming back with the data. So what I can do is pretty much use this now and then go and then try to get. So let me explain this service document. All this service document is saying is, hey, under me I have all this service endpoint. So there is a sales order line item collection, there is business partner collection, there is contact collection, there is sales order collection, there is product collection. So think of these as the tables in your database in your SAP, and each of these collection means like the whole table is available. I mean the whole table is exposed for consumption. Some of the cool things that I can do is I'll show you that. Let me see if let me open it from here. Go to apps. I'll close this guy. I need that authentication token, so let me see what I got. So let me see get. Let me do the get. Okay, so it's coming. So here what I can do is I can just come in and then say header accept, and I will say application / JSON, and now you will see, like, I'm getting the JSON data back. Earlier we got the Atom protocol or the XML protocol. So the OData protocol says that if you're an OData producer, you should be ready to send data in XML format by default, or if the user asks for JSON, you should be ready to send the data in JSON. So some of the cool things that we can do with OData protocol are these. So let's say I say business partner collection. Hang on, so I made a mistake. Yeah, so business partner collection. So now you'll see, like, I'm getting all the business partners data. If you see here, I have the results coming in. I have business partner ID 0100 whatever, business partner ID 1, 2, 3, all those things. So where OData shines is, now the producer has done it and then leave it. Remember, if you had to do a WCF service or any kind of service, you would pretty much provide endpoints like get business partner by city, get business partner by ID, get business partner by whatever other parameters, right? So you don't have to do that with OData. I can just say give me top one. I'll just get one data now. So if you see here, I just got one data, there's nothing more. So then I can go to the extent that, I want you to give me top 5 whatever data that you have, but I want to select only company name, email address, and city. Just I want to display only these 3. So if you see here, I get only those 3. So this is the power to the client, and then you can pretty much do whatever you want. If you see here, email address, SAP, city is Waldorf, Becker Berlin, Delmont Industries, William Delaware, Talpa, Hanover, whatever. And then if I want to know how many data I have in my database, I just have to say dollar inline count is equal to all pages. I'm not sure if they have enabled this. Let me see. Oh, there you go. So underscore count. There are 50 items in the database, but I'm getting only 50. I'm getting only 5. I can go and say, like, dollar order by ampersand dollar order by is equal to let's say company name. So you see now I'm getting Avantel now. So what it did was it did the order by the company name and then took the top 5. So I'm getting Avantel, African Gold, Alpine System, Anam Edion or whatever, Angere or whatever it is. So like this. So this is OData. So the business partner collection is available, like the EPM is available or the sales order is available as a OData protocol. So we are going to use this in order to kind of use this and then build a mobile app. So I'm going to mobilize this sales order system or the EPM system that I'm trying to look at the demo system and mobilize this, and then somebody going on a using on a field and then they want to quickly look at all their partner details or whatever it is. I will try to expose that and then create a mobile app for that in next 45 minutes or so. We already finished 20 minutes, I believe. Yeah, so we are at the 20th minute, so maybe next 30 minutes or so we'll try to build a simple mobile application, and then I'll showcase how you can mobilize the SAP data. So this is all about the so as I said, for the demo system, you need the credential and then you need to pass the credential. Now I'm not passing any credential because it's already cached in my what do you call the browser. But what you can do is there's a concept called reverse proxy. Here is a reverse proxy that I created using ASP.NET. All I'm doing is basically the reverse proxy is to make sure that you saw me passing user ID and password entering into the database, into the browser window. Browser prompted me for the credential and I pasted. So that's going to go as a clear text from your client, in this case my browser, to SAP system as a clear text over the wire, and that is not advised. So basically, especially when you are doing a mobile application, and then in the mobile application for every communication that you're doing, if you pass it like that, it's not advisable. So what is advisable is you create your own server, like a proxy server or kind of a redirect server, and then what you can do is from your application you just ping your from a mobile application you just ping your own server, and then from your own server you just use the credential to hit the Netweaver gateway system, and so that nobody knows what's the credential that it's going to. Of course you can do your own authentication of the user who is using the mobile application, like go to your authentication service, authenticate him, and then if he is authenticated, then allow him to use your server. So that's the proxy server. So what I've done here is I create a simple ASP.NET web API. So basically, assume like if you're not from ASP.NET, don't worry. This is, I just created a web service. For the web service, what I do is I pass the actual SAP URL, meaning the SAP URL is here. So sapes1.sapdevcenter.com/SAP OPU OData SAP ZW sample underscore SRV. So this is the actual URL that I need to connect to the SAP data, but I won't. If I have to directly connect to this, I have to pass my credentials. So that's what I don't want to do. As you can see here in my web service, what I've done is if you are from the web background, you'll know that the authorization has this basic authentication system wherein you convert your strings, the plain text, into base 64 and then pass that as a basic authentication string, and then on the server side, they will take that base 64, that they will decode the base 64 and then extract the username and then password. If I have to show you the way I do it, so it's basically simple here. If you look at my screen, let me increase my font. So what I'm doing is I take a username. Of course, I don't want to show my username and password. That's why I'm hiding it in a variable so you don't see it. The variable is declared very down. I have a username, I have password. So what you do is you convert them into username colon password format and then get a base 64 string out of it, and then you pass that in the header as authorization basic space that base 64 string. So what I'm doing is my mobile application is going to hit this particular proxy controller or proxy server, and the proxy is the API or the web service, and then pass the actual URL that I have to connect from the mobile application. So then I use the base 64 string of my credential. I set a accept. I'm setting a header here, HTTP header. I say I can accept only application/JSON, and I have authorization basic space, base 64. and then I go and then invoke that particular service, and then I read this string that it comes back. So let me run this and then show you. So this is just a basic ASP.NET application. It can be done in any application. So my localhost is running at 186.1.1. So what I will do is I will say, hey, I have an API called as Proxy, and I actually want to connect to this SAP URL called Business Partner Collection, and I will say top 5. Okay, so let's see if it's running. So I'll put a breakpoint just to showcase that it does hit, the service does hit this particular thing. So let me send. So if you see on my left hand side, I have my breakpoint. I can do an F10 now. I've converted my, here is the base64 string that I converted. If you see my screen now, I'm showcasing the base64 string that I've for my credentials, and then I set the default request header like accept and then authorize, and then I'm going and then waiting for the actual SAP data to come back, and then I received the data. I'll send it back, and now you see here, I'm sending back the same JSON data that I received from SAP using my proxy control. So here with this, what happens is, of course, there is a, just give me a second. So with this, what happens is, your application can just talk to your proxy controller and then a proxy server, and then from there you talk to the actual SAP by passing the credential that is actually required by pass. So you are not, from your mobile application, you are nowhere passing the creds as a plain text, right? It's all shielded. So that's about this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop this. Of course, we'll use this later. Or when I create this one. So now, so this was a demo system, and then I talked about setting up the reverse proxy, or as it known as. So authorization through the header, pass the basic authentication string. Two options: you can do a server redirection, meaning you can create an IIS website and then say, hey, any you can create a pattern and say like, hey, any request that you get, you please forward it to SAP, and then let the client get the data back directly from the SAP URI. Or you can use Nginx servers or IIS server and then redirect that. Or you can do the ASP.NET Web API proxy that I showed you. Those are the two options. Now let's talk a little bit about Kendo UI Mobile. So it's basically Kendo UI Mobile in a nutshell is nothing but it's an adaptive rendering native-like mobile control set. It's used to create hybrid mobile applications, meaning if you have the knowledge of HTML, JavaScript, CSS, you are a mobile application developer. You don't need to know anything else except these three. And our controls are adaptive in nature, meaning you use our controls and then build a UI. You can see that the same code without any changes is going to look and feel like the native platform on different platform. For example, whatever you're looking at, the iOS is the same code. When run on an Android will look like Android. When run on BlackBerry will look like BlackBerry. We also support Windows Phone. So it's a native UI on every device. That's what Kendo UI Mobile does. All those controls you see on the top, the button group, all those are Kendo UI Mobile controls. As I said, we also support the Windows Phone 8, iOS, Android, BlackBerry, and then name it. We have kinetic scrolling, inbuilt with the control set. It also has an automatic layout system. You don't have to worry about what happens when the phone is user goes ahead and then flips it or all those things, because we do automatic layout system. So now let's try to get into a demo of using Kendo UI. So let me show you where you can get it. So the Kendo UI mobile controls are available as free. Let me get that link. So if you go to telerik.com/kendo-ui/open-source-core, so you can search for Kendo UI Core. As part of Kendo UI Core, what we have done is we have these are the widgets that are available. You have web controls available, and also the mobile framework and mobile widgets are completely free. So you can build commercial, or you can build your own personal mobile application and then host it on the marketplace. Of course, you will need to package it first. So we don't, as part of the Kendo UI Core, the only thing that you get is the control set, which is free. application forms, layout, view, action sheet, button group, dryer. Dryer is a very interesting control that mobile world uses. So all these things are available for free. We also have something called as App Builder. It's part of our Telerik platform. App Builder is an IDE that you need to build hybrid mobile applications. As you can see in the picture on the right hand side, you see the IDE coming up there. The IDE provides you the designer. You can code. You have a code surface, everything. So with this, what happens is it gives you a simulator. It can simulate iPhone, Android phones, iPads, Android tablets, Windows Phone. Everything can be simulated. So you can write a code, and in the simulator you can see, hey, how does my code look like in on all these devices. So that's what this gives you. So I'm going to be using Visual Studio as an IDE, and Visual Studio has this our extension. We also have, let me show you this, we also have Telerik App Builder Windows client. So this is known as Telerik App Builder Windows client, and we also have a plugin available for Visual Studio. So I'm going to be using Visual Studio today, and this plugin is available only for Visual Studio. So you have Telerik, and then we have Kendo UI Mobile app. So I'm going to pick up this Kendo UI Mobile app. So let me go ahead. Okay, I'm going to create it here. So I will say SAP EPM demo. So it's on my projects or whatever. So I'm going to say okay. So I think there is a little bit of lag in the the video to catch up. So basically what I did was, in Visual Studio we have a plugin, we call it as App Builder plugin. So I use that to create a Kendo UI Mobile app. So if you see here, we have a menu option which says App Builder, and then I can do a lot of things here. So I can look at I can run it in simulator. So let me show that first. So I've clicked on Run in Simulators. It's currently launching simulator. So the simulator is in the other window. Let me drag it. So there you go. So what you are seeing now is actually an iPhone 5 simulation. When you go and then say File New Project, what it does is it automatically goes and then create a simple sample app. It has a home screen, then it has a login screen. I can come back here and then say, like, my username is this, and then something, and then I click on OK, login. It says okay, welcome, log out. I can go back to log out, and then I have a location here. I have embedded a Google Maps here, so I can say I'm from Bangalore, so I can say Bangalore, and then click on this. It will go and then show Bangalore. Of course, I'm connected to the internet now, and this is example of the list view that we have. So it's a fictitious data that we bundle, weather data, and then we showcase. So the interesting thing about our platform is, when you use App Builder, we give you all these things. You can go back to the old iPhone look, like how does it look like. Let me go to iPhone 5 and then say how does it look in iPhone 6. So there you go. So this is the classic iPhone 6 look. And then we also have Android thing. So if you see here, it says this is how it looks like in Android, but I didn't have to change any code. So this is adaptive rendering. This is native like UI. Also have Windows Phone. So this is how it looks like in Windows Phone. I can go to login, location, this, or I can go and then say we also have this concept of flat theme. So this is how flat theme looks like. If I go and then select, hang on, so my mouse just froze on me. Come on. Just give me a second. My mouse is not functioning. It just is frozen. Okay, I'm back. So if I go to iPhone and then I say, hey, I want to see how this looks like in flat. So this is how our flat theme is. So you don't care about the native rendering. What you can do is you can go and say, I don't want all these things. I want a flat theme. So this flat theme is, this is how it looks like. So now what we're going to do is we will kind of remove everything that is put up here and then start accessing that particular data that we need in the SAP system, right? So what I'm going to do is first go and then create a So let me show you the project structure. So the project structure is fairly simple. You just keep putting everything here. So scripts, you can see app, location, weather.js, everything. So I'm going to go and then so I'm going to keep the app.js as is and then remove all these other guys. I don't need it because we're not going to do that. And let me come back here and then let me keep just the home. And I'm going to remove everything else. So I don't want this view, I don't want this view. I'll tell you how we kind of create things in Kendo UI. So the first thing that starts with Kendo UI is defining a layout. You can come back here and then say div data dash row layout. That's all you need to tell to create a layout. So layout is nothing but you're setting how your header should look like and how your footer should look like. You never define how the body should look like because each page of your application will define how the body will look like. So here all I've done is I've set data dash role layout, data dash role header, data dash role navbar. So these are all Kendo UI specific. So Kendo UI rendering engine will look for this and then convert this into a Kendo UI layout or Kendo UI page. And navbar is on the top what you get. In iPhone you will see let me show you this. Okay, another thing is, as soon as you make a change, our simulator will automatically pick it up and then refresh the simulator to see the latest code change that you get. So now I can see this. Can go to So what you're seeing here is, the home screen is there and then the tab strips are there. So if you see here, I've created div data dash role footer, and then I've said data dash role tab strip, home, and then contact. So in our case, what I want to do is the home screen. So the way you define a view or a page in Kendo UI Mobile, let me increase my font maybe if you're not able to see it. So how you define is you just say data dash role, that's all. It will pick it up automatically and then give it, just make sure to give the ID for that particular screen. So I've given an ID of home. I've said data dash role view. So what I want to show is, remember we had business partners. So I want to bring in all the partners. So I will say partners. So now you can see like, uh, the title shows as partners, right? And next thing that I want to do is I'll create a file called as settings.js just to keep all my settings. I'm going to go ahead and then say new item and JavaScript. So I already have some code built up before, so I'll just use that so that you don't have to see me typing. So I'll explain you what I'm doing. So basically what I've done is I've created a simple what do you call JavaScript object called app settings, and then in the app settings what I've done is I've said I want an auth settings, and then inside that I will keep the token. Whenever you're communicating with SAP, it will send you a token, so you need to keep hold of that so that further communication can be done using the token. And then certain data settings like partners read URL, so I have to read the partners URL from this particular endpoint. So that's what I've done here. And then session settings like what was the selected partner, selected order, view settings, what are the different views that I will have in all those things. So let's see how far we can go. My idea is to build the home screen and then the partner view. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to okay, let me take away this skin change. We don't need that. So now if we see the UI, so it's good. So we have the partners. So now I'll show you a simple stuffs. So let me go back to the screen. So here what I will do is I'll remove, so notice that there are some welcome, all those things. So I'm going to remove all those stuff, the welcome image and all those things. And then I need to show list of partners, right? So what I will do is I will say UL, and I will call ID as partners list view. And here is an interesting thing now. So you just have to say data dash role is equal to list view. So list view is our Kendo UI Mobile list view. So as soon as you put it as data dash role, the Kendo UI rendering engine will pick it up and then convert this normal unordered list into a list view that I showed you, the weather list view that we saw. So and then what we need to do is we need to give it a template. So I will say partner list template. We'll define this template, so don't worry. And then we would need to do a data binding. So basically, where do I read from? So don't worry about this. I'll show you where we can do this from. So I will say partners, and that's all we need to say. So now let's go ahead and define the template that we need. So again, instead of you looking at what I code, so I will go and then paste couple of code. I'll explain you what I'm doing. So basically so the template is nothing but it's a blueprint, and then when at runtime, when a data is bound to that particular to the list takes a look at this template and says, okay, oh, each item I have to convert it like this. So I am defining the markup for each item. So what you're seeing here is I gave it a script type and I gave it a ID. So I will say partner list template, and okay, we'll come back to this. So this is data dash role touch, data dash bind is this, and then I'm putting a style. I want to display company and then city, postal code, and country. So notice that these are all a separate templating language. Basically, it says like, hey, at runtime, the data item that is bound to this particular item contains a property called company, contains a property called city, postal code, country. So bind those values here into this span or div. So that's what this means. Now, so where do I get the data from, right? So what I'm going to do is, let me remove this login.js and all those things. And I'm going to go ahead and then create a new JavaScript. Oh, this is settings.js. So I need to include settings.js in here. Let me remove this. Let me pin this. And then we need the setting.js here. And now I'm going to create one more JavaScript file, and I'm going to call it partners. I'm trying to get partners. So I'm trying to go fast because I'm already lost too much of time. So in the partners, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to get app variable that is available. If it is not available, let's go ahead and then create it. And then app.partners. So I'm defining a function now. So I will say function, and this is a immediately invoking function. So as you can see here, it gets invoked immediately. So what I will do now is I will use strict mode, and now I have to define some model. So what I will do is I'll explain you what I'm doing. So first I need to define my partner model. So how do I know how my partner model looks like, right? So let's go back to the Chrome. So there is something called as metadata that this OData gives you. So if I say dollar metadata at the end, now I'm going to see the metadata. So like metadata is nothing but what are the objects that this particular collection exposes, this particular service exposes, and then what is the shape of this particular data. For example, we are looking at business partner, remember? So business partner contains fields like business partner ID, email address, phone number, company name, legal form, currency code, city, postal code, street, billing, and country, and then address type, blah blah blah, all those things. So I'm not interested in everything, but I want a couple of things from this. So what I will do is I will again create a a model, and I'll call this partners model is equal to function, and it's again an immediately invoking function. So I'll just create it like this. So here what I'm going to do now is I'm going to define the model and then my data source. So we have partner model is equal to, this is a kind of specific thing. So basically you need to define what is your ID. So if you remember, I showed you that the key for that particular business partner collection is a business partner ID. And then I need to define my fields that I am interested in to get from the data. So what I will do is, in the interest of the time, I already have it created. So I'll come here and then paste it. As you can see here, company name, email address, phone number, fax, web address, legal form. This is the same thing that we saw in the in the metadata, right? So this is done. Now I need to define my data source. How do I read from the SAP OData protocol, right? If you're looking like, oh, I need to write a lot of code, well, think again. Let me introduce you to something called as Kendo UI data source. So you just have to say new Kendo data source. And remember, I created a settings file. In the settings file, what we have done is we have said data settings partners read URL, right? So I'm going to be using that here now. So what I do in partner data source is we support OData out of the box. So all you need to do is just say, hey, the type of data you are connecting to is OData. And how do I read, or where do I read, right? So you just say transport, and every time you have to read data, please go to this URL. So where is that URL coming from? Remember, I have this settings. So I say app settings dot data settings dot, okay, what did I name it? It's partners read URL, right? That's all I have to say. And then what I need to do is, as I said, it kind of, every time you send, and one more thing I need to say is, I need to say what is the data type that I'm expecting. I need JSON. And before sending, we need to set a header which says CSRF token. So this is the token that I was talking about. Basically, every time you communicate for the first time, they're going to send you a token because they've authenticated you. You just have to hold on to that token till your session is done. And once the session is done, you don't use it. But within that session, whenever you're communicating with the SAP, you need to send that token. So if you see here, before sending, I'm setting like, hey, I want to fetch the token. And once my request is completed, I'm actually storing it in app settings.auth settings.token, get the response header, X CSRF token, that's it, right? So that is all is required. So one more thing that I want to do is, I want to sort the data. Remember we sorted by company name. So I want to do that. I want to sort the data. So what you can do is just tell our data source that, hey, I want to sort on the field called company name, and the direction that I want to sort is ascending. That's all you need to tell, and we will convert that into a OData query. The $order by is equal to, and of course we need to tell our, again my mouse is kind of playing with me. And one more thing we need to do is we need to tell the data source, hey, how does the data shape look like? All you need to do is, remember, we just created a model. So just create this and say model is equal to partner model. That's it. And then our data source will know. I can also set the page size. I will say give me 50 partners at a time, for now. So the paging is handled on the server. It's not on the client side. Well, the data source can do it even on the client side. Server sorting is true. For now, we are not going to do any sorting, but I'll just keep it. So that's it. So I'm done with this. What I can do is I've defined the data source. So I need to return this. I will say partners is equal to partner data source, right? So we defined only one model, that is partners model has been defined. So now what I'm going to do is I will just say, I'll create a view model. So partners view model is equal to, again, this is a immediately invoking function. So I will say function, and so only thing that I will do is, remember we have to handle now the partner selected. If somebody selects a partner, so what needs to be done? So what I can do is I can say this is a function e, and here I can say app.mobile. Okay, I need to check if I have a mobile app here. Okay, this is app.application dot navigate. I want to navigate to app settings dot view settings dot partner view. We'll come back to this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass a data to that next view that we're going to go. So the data that I want to pass is the currently selected identifier, and then I just have to say return partners is nothing but partners model dot partners, and then partners selected is this particular guy, and we are all set. And then I just have to return this view model. So return partners view model. Okay, so now interesting thing that I'm going to show you is I can actually come back to this view and say, hey, you know what, you will have a model to work with. So the model is app dot partners. So that's all I have to say. I just have to say data model is app dot partners. So now let's see what happens. I'll do a reload. Let's go to debug. It's not working. So what happened? Source is partners. Oh, I know. Sorry about that. So I didn't include this partner.js. So what I will do is I'll come back here after the app.js. I will use it. So we have setting app.js, partner.js. There you go. And I am now connected to SAP. Let me show you if you think I'm bluffing. Let me bring up my Postman. Where did my Postman go? Did I turn it off? Well, I'll show it here. Yeah, let me bring up the Postman. So what I'm going to do is I'll go to Postman and I'll show you only those things that are coming on the screen in the mobile app. So I'm going to say this is business partner collection, and then you remember I selected company name. What am I showing in this one? Company name, city, company name. I don't want the email. City, then postal code, then country. Right? So let me hit this. Hang on. So this is postal code, yeah. Business partner collection. This is not found for the segment postal. Oh, sorry. There you go. One thing I forgot to add was order by. So I will say $order by is equal to company name. Interesting. Oh, I don't want top 5. Let me get everybody. There you go. So I have Avantail. So that's what you see here. So if you see here, I have Avantail, Mexico City, 1700 MX. I have African Gold and Diamond Corporation, so Johannesburg 2006 ZA. So there you go. So what we just did now was, with simple things with Kendo UI Mobile, and then of course the OData that SAP provides, I'm able to create a mobile application now. Don't worry about the tab strip for now. So let's ignore that for a while. But here is what I want you to kind of get away from this example that I showed you. I can now put the same code on Android. There you go. I don't have to do any code. So now I can expose my particular SAP data to Android, to iPhone, and also to Windows Phone. There you go. I have the same data coming up in all the three platforms. That is because Kendo UI is adaptive rendering, and then it can do all these things. So let's come back here and then take it next level. So remember, whenever I click on partner selected, it has to go to we have what is known as partners view, and then we have partner view. So let's create a views folder. So I'm going to say add new folder, views, and I will create add new item, HTML page. I will say partner view. So now you don't need to put the complete HTML. So all you need to do is you just have to go here, come back here, and then say, like, let me copy the whole stuff. I'll just change it, and you just have to say tab strip, maybe partner view, whatever. Oh no, I need to look at my settings, what I've said. So I have said, oh, that's fine. So I'm going by views, partner view.html. So in the partner view.html, what I'm going to do is, in the interest of the time, I know we have already eaten up the whole hour. So I will just copy paste a couple of code. I'll explain you what I've done. So I'm just trying to, so if you see here, it's again a div data-role view. I call it as partner view, and then data-show app.partner.show. So we need to create this model called partner. So let's quickly create that. So what you need to do is just add a new JavaScript file. Let's call it as partner. And in the partner.js, all I'm going to do is, let me paste a couple of code. I'll explain you what I'm doing. So again, this is a immediately invoking function. I create a partner object, and in the partner view model, what I'm doing is show. This is the important thing. So if you notice here, I said data-show is app.partner.show, meaning this is the function that will be invoked when the view is shown. So in the show, I'm saying partner UID. So I passed a UID from the page. So I'm saying, okay, go there. And in the app.partners object, there's a partners data source, get this particular data, and I'm saying here's the selected partner, and then I'm doing a bind. Basically, it's an MEVM thing. And then now if I go ahead, I have to order this, add this partner.js to this page. So now it's all done. Let me come back to iPhone because it looks nice. So if I click on Aventail, what happened? Let me check. It should have gone to that particular page. So let me just quickly see what is happening. So binds tab partner selected. So partner.js partner selected, navigate. So debug. Oh, app setting. Okay, app setting is not, it's settings. Okay. Let me click on this. Cannot read property show of undefined. Where? Partner view app.partner.show index.html. Oh, damn, my mistake. Sorry. So this is app.partner. So there you go. So let me reload. Sorry about that. I practiced 5 times. I missed it. So if I click on Aventail now, there you go. I'm able to bring up the Aventail's data. So you see that Aventail's legal form is SA. I don't know what is that, but the contact email is victorsanchez@aventail.com. Phone is 7257716. Web address is aventail.com, and then 24 Basti Duran, Mexico City, MX. So this is Mexico, right? So now the same, you can go to Android phone, click on it, and this is how it will look like in Android, right? Of course, you notice that Android does not have this concept of title, so we won't show it. So this is something that you can create immediately, mobilizing the data, SAP data over this. So I already have a full-fledged application built. I'm going to open source this application. If anybody is interested, they can pretty much pick it up. I'll put it on GitHub, or I'll put it on Bitbucket, and then you can use it. So let me run this and then show you. It's a full-fledged app. It does much more than what we just saw. Let me close this. Let me bring it. So here you go. I have a little bit of styling. Everything has been done. It's just not reading what you can do right also. It's just that I don't have the time now to showcase. But if you see here, I have this form already built up which can save. So let me show you all the other things. A particular business partner will have a detail, and the partner will always have some orders with us. That's how the SAP procurement model works. So this is the orders that Aventail has already placed with me. These are the orders that we are working with Aventail. So there is order 1008. It's worth euro 100K. So I can click now on a sales order. It will show me that particular sales order, like June 25th. It was put up here and all those things. I can also see what happened. Okay, the data binding is having some problems. So basically, I would have shown the order items coming up here. The basic idea that I wanted to kind of touch upon today was to show that how easy it is to actually use Kendo UI Mobile and build up a mobile application, and then use the SAP data, mobilize your SAP data with pretty much no hassle. So that was the main intent of this today's webinar. I know we have finished an hour. I'm actually 10 minutes overboard of the hour. So thank you very much. So I put up my thank you slide. So it doesn't mean that I'm going to go away. If there is anybody who has to kind of leave, we understand. Thank you very much for giving you a 1 hour. I hope you learned something today, and then you have something to kind of look upon in terms of mobilizing your SAP data if you are in SAP and then you want to do something. So thank you very much.